Lightworker is one of those terms of the new era with many different definitions, but one thing we can agree on is that a lightworker is someone who wants to make a positive impact on the world. Often, they have knowledge that goes beyond their years and is very intuitive. While this desire to impact the world is noble in many ways, many lightworkers are overloaded with life in one way or another. As ironic as it may seem to some, this creates the need for someone with this predisposition to need a robust self-care routine. And with that in mind, here are 7 essential tips for the personal care of lightworkers. 1. It's okay not to blend in. If you are a lightworker, you have probably discovered that you don't blend in at all. In most cases, you are likely to be a loner and feel disoriented. You may even have points in your life where you feel frustrated that other people do not understand you. So, if you feel like you are on this path, then feel good about your strange nature. Accept that you really don't fit with others. It is part of why you can see worlds and possibilities that they cannot see. Although frustrating at times, it is a large part of your gift. 2. Alone time is sacred. Most lightworkers are what we call false aliens. In general, we are in a position to interact well with others, people want to talk to us, we have an extraordinary ability to read people, and we often help people without thinking about it or the cost of our time, welfare, or other responsibilities. And sometimes, strangers reveal their deepest and darkest secrets, whether you want to hear them or not. Therefore, others are often attracted to us and people call us for help. But we have to make sure we take the time to recover from this. This way of being can be very exhausting and often takes us away from things that would bring us tax rewards and encourage us to avoid our own well-being. We must keep in mind that self-care is one of the places where we need to work on ourselves. Opening ourselves to other people is incredible, but we must make sure that we can pay our bills and that we eat. It is important to find a balance. Generally, that means turning off the phone, stop using social media, and simply finding joy in a passion. People can always call you later. And if you do not recharge, you will find that eventually, you will become useless. I know that I start to be in a hurry, depressive and grumpy if I don't have time. Therefore, it has become sacred for me to take some time for myself weekly, and it should be for you too. 3. It is important to study the arts. Although much of the work of a lightworker is intuitive or based on personal experience, it is actually very important to study how to work with others, spirituality, philosophy, and any art in which you specialize. While you can only work with your personal knowledge, you will stand out much faster and deeper if you master some of these topics. Hypnosis and NLP, for example, radically changed the way we see ourselves and others and gave me a set of tools to simplify and enhance the work of change I do about myself and others. You don't need to go that far, but I think you should go deeper into the things that you are passionate about because studying and experience together help you discover yourself, understand the world, be who you are, and give yourself valuable ideas to help people, others, and yourself. In addition, many of those who walk this path are in situations in which running a business is one of the best options to obtain a good income, and this implies a little experience that you will have to learn unless you have a good amount of money you can spend to hire people to do it for you. 4. Not everything is about the study or the mission. You should keep in mind that not everything is about your mission, study, or personal growth. Sometimes, it's okay to do seemingly silly things or just hug someone without expectations. Accept your rarity. And embrace personal time. Remember that it is okay to have a life outside of personal development, study, and help people. It is very easy to burn if you concentrate on that. And a burned person is of little help to anyone, including yourself. Cool and recharge and enjoy. And if you still feel guilty, just feel guilty for feeling guilty about this because it is essential. Ironically, you have probably given this advice to more than one person. 5. Take care of your artistic side. Art is often a large part of the life of a lightworker. Not all of us are artistic, but if you are, accept it. The artistic side is often one of our most powerful and valuable gifts. So, make sure you nurture it. In addition, art is often a good activity for self-care. 6. Focus on oneself as much as others. This may seem counterintuitive to the idea of being a lightworker, but your life is both yours and others. Many of us are so involved in others that we forget ourselves. And although this is an incredible advantage for us when we work with others, it is a very harmful way of living our lives because it always puts us in a mental state based on reaction. Many personal development teachers recommend disabling push notifications and having set schedules to respond to emails, text messages, private messages, etc. All these distractions separate us from our ability to focus and expand our consciousness in many directions at once. It can be very easy to get so involved in reacting to the problems of others or helping others with their problems that we forget ourselves. How many times have you let dinner cool down by hearing someone talk about their problems? Sometimes, it may seem that you have friends who need you more than you need them, and that's fine. In some situations it is true. People are attracted to lightworkers because lightworkers can help them in their personal journeys. However, if our lives consist of helping others and our own growth as a person and healer, we are actually getting a lot from these interactions. We are learning more about the human condition, perfecting our trade, and having the opportunity to see each other as a mirror inside ourselves. Not always, but many times, people ask us for help with situations that we are going through, that we have gone through, or that we will go through. Therefore, there are many things to learn from others, especially if they are resembling us in some way. And sometimes, it's just a fantasy of the ego or a matter of shadows to think that other people need us more than we need or want in our lives. Sometimes, we lose sight of the fact that others help us or offer us company, an interesting perspective, mutual interests, and pure pleasure. Getting lost in the idea of a quid pro quo or a perfect balance in a friendship can be a trap for the ego. So, be careful with this. It can also lead to resentment if we believe that someone is taking advantage of us or if we feel we are constantly giving, but not receiving back. It is important to objectively look at the situation and recognize that we can leave situations that are unilateral or in which others take advantage of us. Similarly, don't let yourself get caught in the ego trap of thinking that everyone needs your help. You don't need to help everyone, and sometimes people don't need or want your help. One of the beautiful things about the experience of living is that we are all on our own personal path. Sometimes, we want a guide, other times, our experience is our own guide. This goes for us and for others. If people want our help, they will let them know, or we can ask for it. If people don't want our help, we don't need to help them. In fact, doing so can be harmful to them or to us. 7. Find the meaning of your trauma, trials, and tribulations. Being a lightworker is in many ways to make the light shine in the dark. This often has a clear effect, but sometimes only after lighting up a lot of nasty, ugly, and hidden things. In the same way that turning on a light under the fridge shows us what is there and allows us to clean it, lightworkers can show us the hidden and ugly parts of life. It's a strange metaphor, I know, but think about it for a moment. If you are on this path, you have probably had your fair share of trauma, trials, and tribulations. And even if you are not, life has a way of putting obstacles in your way. Part of our trip may very well be to clear our own traumas and problems, illuminating them, seeing them as what they are, and making peace with them. A very direct way to do this is to explore the pains we have had in our lives and make peace with them, accepting what happened and exploring the lessons we have learned from them. And this work will inform our ability to help transform others because we will have first-hand knowledge of how to overcome trauma. Although this process will be different for everyone, there are similar elements that can relate to what others are going through. With all that in mind, I hope you can still see that being a lightworker is a blessing, but we need to be more aware than others of our own emotional well-being because many of us will give way beyond our ability to do so and maintain our own lives well. This is a matter of limits and something we should work on in this life. Not realizing this can prevent us from reaching our goals and even lead to resentment, anger, or frustration towards others and away from who we think we are. However, if we keep in mind and train ourselves, we will often find that our lives can be joyful and wonderful experiences. But if we do not put time and energy into self-care, our lives can be much more difficult than they need to be, and, ultimately, we will be less useful to ourselves or others.
If you want to uncover what has been encoded in your destiny when you were born, there's a free, personalized numerology report you can grab here.